Stroud, kind of a big deal, I suppose. It's really, really hard for me to excuse this as a backup quarterback game when the Texans squandered six opportunities, or at least 6 plays that they managed to run down at the 2 yard line or 1 yard line of the Broncos. Um, Look, CJ was doing the whole death by a thousand paper cut things really, really well. The offense chose on the goal line, or Nick Caley chose on the goal line when the Broncos defense was without their best player, Patrick Surtain. The Texans chose to continually try to run it up the gut. And I have no idea why. You saw those defensive linemen for the Broncos. This is known how good they are. And it felt to me like a classic football coach trying to say, "Yeah, we're gonna prove how tough we are here." You guys aren't that tough up the middle, and you've got they've got a backup cornerback playing the Abrams Drains, the hyphenated one, and like you don't attack the perimeters or use Nico Collins or anything else like that. That was very, very frustrating. The defense can only hold so long in the second half when you're just trading punt after punt after punt. The clock management at the very end of the game on the Texans' last drive, when after trying to establish the run all day long, they passed 3 times and gave the Broncos time to give the quarterback, who sometimes only shows up in the fourth quarter, Bo Nix, to just drive down and then run, very Baker Mayfield like, put you into field goal position, put them into field goal position. There's a lot of things that I think you can separate the coaching and the play calling and the game management strategy here from the quarterback, and just how do you manage having Davis Mills in there. If CJ's not back next week, maybe it'll be Graham Mertz. I don't know, but my God, it was 3 and out, 4 and out, 3 and out, 5 and out in that second half. It was really tough. Somebody points out there was no defender in sight on that Bo run. The I think that was the letdown. I hate to harp on the defense right now after a performance that by and large was really good, and they got a really lukewarm performance out of Bo Nix until the very end of the game. But some of the big plays where guys were obviously vacant, that was frustrating. But they just kept giving the offense just kept giving them cracks at it. If you had developed a run game with or without Titus Howard up to some point, maybe it wouldn't have had to have been as bad. But the goal line play calling was my biggest thing. And you guys know me. I do not like criticizing play calling because it's usually a lot of after the fact hindsight reasoning. If something doesn't work out, it was a dumb play call. But I think that most of us in the stadium or at home were saying, "What are you guys doing? What are you trying to do when getting pushed with these guys and not trying to test anything else there or let CJ use his arm?" I don't know. I don't know. CJ Stroud's concussion, I know on the slide, I think people have had time to digest this a little bit. I can tell you from sitting up, I'm on the opposite side of the stadium, but the press box is like way up there on that top level. From above, oh my God, I didn't. It looked like he might have gotten decapitated on that play. And then you watch on replay. It didn't help that they didn't show the replay until we came back from commercial. I gotta say, you know what? In that situation with no contact at the head, the way they call that, I think is the way that I would prefer that they call that. That CJ slid late. I don't know if he was aware of where Abrams' drain was or not, but he didn't hit him in the head. He didn't target. It ended up being the whiplash effect that got him. And I hope he's okay. He walked off. As you saw on television, we could see during the commercial break that he was walking off under his own power. I saw a tweet from him and his mother saying that he was all right. So it's a little concerning now that he's had multiple concussions in his career. Let's not even talk about that. Davis Mills, man, he did some good things. He did some good things on that first drive, and it's a combination of, I think, I can't. If we go back to the offensive line, and I got to rewatch this to really get a feel for how I genuinely feel. I didn't think the pass protection was as bad as I feared it would be with Titus Howard out. I thought that Ariante Ursary, by and large, the first couple series I was watching him closely because they left him one-on-one with Nick Benito a good amount, and he was holding his own. So I didn't. After that, I kind of started going away from him. But by and large, I think Ursary has taken a giant leap forward. and I think can be entrusted to do some things that you weren't going to be able to trust him on earlier in the season. Toa on the wheel route there. Like this is 1 week after he had a great rep against Christian McCaffrey, but he got stuck lead-footed on that. That was frustrating. The Texans pass rush in the second half. I thought I thought it was a combination of Bo Nix doing a good job of knowing how to get out of danger and how to get rid of the football, but also them throwing some protections at the Texans that made it difficult for him to get clean hits on him. I thought they forced a lot of bad throws. I don't know if Bo Nix ended up completing more than 50% of his passes. I stand by my assertion that he is a garbage deep ball thrower. I think most Broncos fans would agree with me, and yet it didn't matter on the one play to the one touchdown reception where it. I want to say that I thought that he gave up inside leverage on that, and from the best of my memory right now, if he thought that he was going to have more support from Bullock on that, unless they just had him out on an island there by himself on that play or not. But like other than that, you saw like by and large they did a good job of keeping Bo Nix from being lethal as a passer. He just had too many opportunities, and then he went all Baker Mayfield on it. A couple of plays I've got highlighted that I want to show video of later where I thought the defensive line did a really good job. The clock management at the end of the game was frustrating too. I don't, when you're at your own 20-yard line, you haven't been able to move the ball at all day. And it was in a situation where you could just drain clock, force them to use their timeouts. I said this. I don't know why they didn't run the ball at all. And somebody said, well, you're still going to have to drive the ball in overtime. No, not from the 20. You've got the benefit of the potential for a return. You've like the field position game could be a whole lot different, and especially with the time element there, where you're trying to do all of that in 1 minute. I thought that they still should have just been draining clock there. As Don says, they can still be 5-5 over these next couple games. Colts lose today. I think the Colts. They'll be interesting. I didn't get to see any of that game at all. We can tell Mills doesn't practice. Mills, well, there's the problem with Mills. Man, he made that one beautiful touch throw early on, but there's just too many times where he's just too inaccurate. You see the difference between somebody who can consistently make tougher throws, but also not mess up the easier throws, and C.J. Stroud going to somebody that, man, like, yes, he's capable of making the really nice throws, but he's just not capable of making throws consistently enough all the time. And, go back to when Nico Collins used to. Remember when Nico Collins would have like a 20% catch rate, but with no drops? And it was because there were so many inaccurate throws to him. It might be Graham Mertz time. It'll be curious to see exactly what comes of it. Your guys' comments are disappearing very quickly, so I'll try to get some of my favorite or least favorite plays from the game up a little bit later. I got to see, let's see, I don't want to name all the guys that I just saw after the game. They were here for Mrs. McNair's induction, but a lot of my old teammates, Corey Bradford and Corey Sears, Billy Miller. I hadn't seen Billy Miller, and I don't know if I've seen Billy Miller in over a decade. I got to talk to Billy Miller for a while, a bunch of the old offensive linemen, and that part was really cool. Everybody looks great. Everybody looks really healthy, which is good. All right, everybody, things will get better. It gets better.